Buzzley's busy garden. In the middle of a bright, sun-soaked garden, Pip stood very still. A tiny sound, like a low hum, was coming from the big, floppy sunflower. Pip's knees shook just a little bit. "Oh no," Pip whispered, "it's a buzzy stinger." Pip grabbed a garden hat and pulled it down low, hiding behind a large, clay-sculpted watering can. Suddenly, a small, fuzzy face popped over the edge of a petal. It was Buzzley. He didn't look scary at all. He had big, kind eyes and a fuzzy coat that looked as soft as a sweater. Buzzley did a little loop-de-loop in the air and landed gently on the rim of the watering can. "Hello there," he seemed to say with a happy wiggle of his wings. Pip noticed that Buzzley's legs were covered in bright yellow fluff. It looked like he had been playing in gold dust. Buzzley began to rub his legs together, tidying up his messy yellow pants. He wasn't interested in stinging anyone. He was far too busy with his important morning chores. "What is all that yellow stuff?" Pip asked, leaning in closer. Buzzley buzzed a cheerful tune and pointed his fuzzy head toward a nearby rose. He was carrying pollen, the magic dust that helps the garden grow. Without Buzzley and his friends, the flowers would stay sleepy and never make seeds. Buzzley took off, zigzagging through the air like a tiny golden plane. He landed on a white apple blossom, buried his face in the center, and came out with even more yellow dust. Pip followed him, watching how carefully Buzzley treated every single petal. He was like a tiny gardener with wings. Pip realized that the delicious strawberries growing in the patch wouldn't be there without Buzzley. "You make the fruit grow," Pip exclaimed. Buzzley did a happy dance in the air. He wasn't a buzzy stinger after all. He was a tiny hero who made sure the world stayed full of yummy treats and beautiful colors. Buzzley flew over to a piece of wood with many small holes in it. He began to wiggle his body in a very specific way, moving in a figure-8 pattern. It was the waggle dance. Pip laughed, watching the little bee shake his fuzzy bottom to tell his friends exactly where the best flowers were. Another bee, named Zinnia, flew down to join the dance. She was just as fuzzy and friendly as Buzzley. They tapped their antennae together, sharing information about the clover field across the fence. They worked together as a team, making sure every flower in the neighborhood got a visit. Pip stood up and waved a hand as Buzzley and Zinnia prepared to fly toward the meadow. Pip didn't feel like hiding anymore. The humming sound didn't seem scary now. It sounded like the garden's heartbeat. "Thank you, Buzzley," Pip called out. "I'll make sure to plant more flowers for you." As Pip watched the bees disappear into the tall grass, the garden felt like a magical place. Pip knew that every time a bee buzzed by, it was just a little neighbor doing a very big job. From that day on, whenever Pip heard a buzz, Pip simply smiled and said, "Keep up the good work."